Niels and Petra, who've done an excellent job announcing throughout the course of this competition, bringing us all to order as it is time for the 5 hoops contest. Let's have a look at your contenders. We'll begin with the Spaniards, the 5th best performers in qualification and the all-around bronze medalists. A group really going from strength to strength as the years go by. A group who delivered a performance of real consequence in the all-around competition yesterday. They finished 4th, but that wasn't the real thing that was occupying their minds. It was getting the last Olympic qualification spot for Paris. It is all to be confirmed, but unofficially, they are celebrating in Baku. Fifth in the all-around competition, a surprise for the reigning world champions. But Israel were brilliant with the mixed apparatus. Well, brilliant with the single apparatus, I should say. It was the mixed apparatus that caused them problems, excuse me. 38.15 with the single apparatus for Israel. Bulgaria, they were brilliant across the board, but especially with the single apparatus, 39.15. Top qualifiers, a mark exactly ahead of Israel. Italy, 2nd best performers in the preliminary round and in the all-around final, which was one and the same, 38.9. The 6th best qualifiers, the French. They were 11th in the all-around competition, but they had a positive conclusion to that aforementioned final when they finished with this routine. And the group that was 6th in the all-around final, the Warriors team of Ukraine, 8th best in the qualification for this particular event. They really looked tidy with the mixed apparatus too. And the last group to perform, Germany, they were the 7th best performers all-around competition and in qualification for this particular event. The finalists in the 5 hoops competition at the European Championships in Budapest, top performers in qualification, the Bulgarians. They will go 4th in the order. They are the all-around champions from yesterday. Before them, we'll see Israel, who excelled in the single apparatus portion but struggled in the mixed apparatus section. Israel were the 3rd strongest qualifiers, and right after the Bulgarians we'll have the 2nd strongest qualifiers, the Italians. So the middle of this final could well be where the medals are settled. Or will we get some shocks? We did have it in the individual apparatus finals. The crowd waits, and so do you. Thank you for your patience. The broadcast a little behind schedule. It is the last day of competition at the Pap Laszlo Sport Arena in Budapest. It is time to begin. And what a way to start with the second strongest performers in the mixed apparatus qualification, the fifth strongest performers in the single apparatus qualification, the all-around bronze medalists. They were compelling in what we saw of them yesterday. Can they find extra marks to push them up towards a podium place in the single apparatus final? Welcome one and all to the 5 hoops final at Budapest 2024. We begin with the all-around bronze medalists from yesterday's competition, Spain. They were the 5th best qualifiers for this particular final, a qualification doubling as the all-around final. Their score was 36.75. This is Ana Arnau, Inés Bergua, Mireia Martinez, Patricia Perez and Salma Solaun. They have really set a standard with that 5 hoops routine. The Spaniards starting with a flourish. They really do some glorious gymnastics with the 5 hoops. They know it too. There's nothing more wonderful than when you see athletes unified by certainty that they got that right.
And we cannot underscore enough how far this group has come, from underdogs to world and European medalists in just 3 years. Really wonderful use of choral movement in this routine. What group rhythmic gymnastics is all about is collective work, you might say. The transitions of apparatus between gymnasts are what makes this routine so interesting, and also what makes it rather difficult to execute. Here's their dynamic element with rotation. There's only 1 that is allowed in groups as compared to 5 per routine that we often see from individuals. They nailed it.
That was a treat to watch. Great beginning to the final. Another of the great joys in life is seeing young athletes become established seniors and get better and better and better. One of the most important things you can do with any individual, any athlete, is show faith in them. Instill in them the belief that you have, that they will become fantastic. And look at them now, multiple continental and world medalists.
Being guided by something of a legend of Spanish group gymnastics herself, the woman on the left, that is Alejandra Herrera. She was the team captain of the silver medal winning Olympic team in 2016. She's a qualified doctor who has put off beginning in earnest in the medical profession in order to guide this team. She felt that she had something to transmit, and she's brought them along beautifully.
It's a very good beginning, 38.75 for the Spaniards. Now then, that has absolutely thrown down the gauntlet for the rest. Perfect beginning to increase, for our viewing pleasure, the drama and intensity of this 5 hoops final. To a group who don't need any more drama and intensity in their lives after the pressure of trying to secure the Paris 2024 qualification spot yesterday. Azerbaijan waiting for it all to be confirmed by the International Gymnastics Federation, but they performed with real tidiness and security. They were the 4th in the all-around competition, 4th best performers qualifying for this final. It really concludes so nicely, that routine. At its absolute best, it is ever so tranquil. Sometimes the trajectories are really precise, other times they weren't quite so exacting. You just watched Gulu Agarajade, Lamen Almuradova, Zeynab Humatova, Elizaveta Luzan and Daria Sorokina of Azerbaijan.
It's a soft and beautiful exercise inspired by the movement of bubbles in the air. The music from the film The Earth Viewed from the Sky. And trajectory errors, well, they can be rather costly, but not nearly as costly as a drop or loss of the apparatus. Think of trajectory errors as small, medium, or large. 1/10 of a point in execution up to 5/10 of a point. And you're right, there were a few here and there.
Sometimes the real issue with having to adjust your trajectory is what you can sacrifice in difficulty. If you maybe have to turn the direction you weren't intending to catch the apparatus, then a skill can't be performed, or if you have to move more quickly underneath it, then you miss out something. It's not, as you say, Blythe, the issue itself is not the act of the angle being off, it's what can accompany it.
The group, coached in part by Siana Vasilyeva, a longtime group member herself, competed at numerous world championships.
It is 36.6 for Azerbaijan. That is a drop from qualification. The difficulty is virtually the same, 2/10 down, but their execution has dropped a couple of tenths for really the sort of reasons we were talking about with the precision of their passes of the apparatus. Still, it's a strong number, 36.6, but there are some big scoring routines to come, especially the next three of them. Spain have really thrown down a challenge to the top qualifiers. But now here they come. The top three, all one after the other. We start with the third best performers in qualifying, Israel, 38.15. Shani Bakanov, Adar Friedman, Romy Paritsky, Ofer Shaham, Diana Svertsov.
I know one. One is God, and one alone on earth and heaven.
Israel, the world champions in all-around competition, but they were only 5th yesterday in the same event at European level. Spain have made things very difficult for the rest. And now we will discover if this routine from Israel had enough about it. It's going to be an interesting wait.
The 5 hoops was not the problem for Israel in the all-around competition yesterday. The real issues were with the 3+2. One thing that's striking is how well they work together as a cohesive unit. Lovely synchronization throughout their routine, whether it's dance steps or fouette pirouettes. The exchanges also very good.
They're really able, aren't they, as a group, to work as one and yet also to break into pockets when they need to and give you different dimensions to look at as you stare at the entire competition floor. Sometimes they are working absolutely in harmony. Other occasions you get interesting patterns.
There are actually 4 types of movement that the gymnasts need to show in each routine. They need to show synchronization. They need to show canon, where everyone does the same thing at intervals. There's also choral movement that is asked for, and contrasts. And if they don't have all 4 of them in the routine, there is a 3/10 deduction for each one that's missing.
And the more defined those different elements are, the more organized a piece of group rhythmic gymnastics looks, the less frantic it appears. It's just so much for these athletes to keep in their heads at all times. So much muscle memory that's part of it, and so much quick thinking when something goes wrong. Because in a group routine, when you get a problem, it's not just about your decision to fix it, it's how the group is going to fix it. You can't just press pause mentally for a moment and make a decision. You've got to just holistically feel the best solution. And of course, it's the sort of thing that groups train for. They prepare for how to get out of problems. Oh, goodness me, that's close. 38.65. Israel 1/10 of a mark behind the Spaniards. Their difficulty is up 3/10 from qualification. They are overall half a mark stronger, just not quite enough to chase down Spain. But they may well challenge that. For 1/10, they might as well. The question really is simple with a complicated answer. How on earth does Bulgaria even match what it did yesterday? It was virtually flawless, 39.15. It put them well on the way to taking the all-around title. Sofia Ivanova, Magdalena Minevska, Camelia Petrova, Rachel Stoyanov and Margarita Vasileva. Here they are, the champions once again of Europe. It is a ferociously difficult routine. 22.2 was the difficulty score in the preliminary round. This performance was not without its moments of tension, but it was also full of extremely effective partnership and execution. The wait for the score will be an intriguing one for the Bulgarians.
You've hit the nail on the head, Olly, when you talk about the difficulty of the throws and catches executed by the Bulgarians. It's a lovely routine. Sets off the natural grace of the group, brings their balletic skill to the forefront. But so many of these catches done mid-rotation, throws as well, mid-walkover, unsighted, without the use of the hands, all of those things that add to the apparatus difficulty. And for the most part, they did a nice job with execution. There were a couple of trajectory errors, one issue in the middle of the routine where there was a gymnast who had to take several steps forward in order to capture the hoop, but she got it. So she avoids a major deduction, but will take a minor one. We saw Bulgaria on the all-around podium in first place, both at this championships and at the European Championships a year ago. We've seen them on the peak at the Europeans, but there's been quite a valley in between those two mountaintops. Disappointing results at the World Cup level, a disappointing World Championships as well. They've remixed the group somewhat, brought in 2 new members, and they've come a long way.
Sometimes from great adversity can come the greatest of triumphs. They've already, the vast majority of this group, shown how they can handle the pressure of a home World Championships. 37.95. So it is a very good score. It is not quite sufficient to bypass Israel, nor to bypass the Spaniards at the top of the leaderboard. It's only a drop of just over a mark, but the standard that Spain have set, as we said would be the case at the beginning, has really thrown down the gauntlet. We've had the third and top qualifiers. Spain have sent those 2 packing. Now they've got to do it one further time. It's over to the Italians. The second best performers in the preliminary round and the all-around silver medalists. Their score was 38.9. This is Martina Centofanti, Agnese Doranti, Alessia Maurelli, Daniela Mogurian and Laura Paris. And nobody out there is more experienced in this group.
elevation, we came here to shatter the load. We about to set the tone, we about to write the code. Yeah, we on a new elevation, we came here to shatter the mold. I know you hear it, I know you see it. We got a fearless, we got a genius, we got defiance, we got obedience, we got a true believer. Yeah, greatness, yeah, it feels like greatness. Greatness, yeah, it feels like greatness. Legendary in the making. Reach out and we take it. About to emerge, we on the verge, and it feels like greatness. Yeah. Woo. Greatness.
Feels like greatness, feels like a fascinating hoop final, this one. The 5 hoops competition in Budapest is utterly engrossing. The Italians have played their parts. Can they overtake Spain? Much of this was performed with their characteristic cleanliness that has come from years and years and years of experience, going back a decade and more in many cases.
There have been times during the past few years when Italy has just looked unbeatable as a group. This year, they have 2 new routines to contend with, and on the World Cup stage, there has been something of a breaking in process, and that continues in this routine. There were moments when it was sublime. There were a few issues, some with trajectory, particularly in catching the apparatus, and one place where it looked like a group member fell out of a balance, having trapped the hoop while she was mid-scale.
And as a result, the difficulty score will be a really interesting one to compare to qualification, where they produced 21.9. That's the moment you were referring to.
Yes. Again, developing into a scale already very difficult, and a body difficulty that's quite valuable. And then you add in the catch.
One of the really interesting features and very challenging features of how difficulty is accumulated in these group routines, of course, as we've talked about throughout these championships, is that the lowest difficulty produced by an individual member of the group is the one that counts. So it is irrelevant if almost the entire group performs exactly what they're intending to. The whole group has to do it.
If everyone performs 3 turns, or if 4 out of 5 perform 3 turns, and the 5th gymnast performs 2 turns, well, they get credit for 2 turns, just as you say.
They have done it nonetheless, 39.35. Italy, their execution is down from qualification. It has dropped a fraction, and that is clear. But what they've managed to do is find an additional 6/10 of difficulty throughout the routine. And they go ahead of the Spaniards. And their artistry score as well. That's crucial here, Blythe, 8.65, the highest artistry score we've seen of any routine. Now to the French. 6th best performers in qualification, 11th in the all-around. Ainoa Dot Espinosa, Manel Inao, Celia Joseph Noel, Justine Lavie and Losea Villarino are the group performing this routine.
Les gens qui cherchent la lumière en pleine nuit, des gens qui courent après l'amour et qui le fuient, les bras qui se lèvent pour un Dieu qu'ils ne voient pas,
this routine in yesterday's final represented an uplifting finish for the French, who didn't have an easy time of it in their mixed apparatus portion of the contest. Now, a lot about it is really well performed. There's some nice moments of interplay between the group members. At times, the crispness is not fully there, and that may well be reflected in the number that we see, but it's enjoyable to watch.
It's a routine that is being refined, competition after competition. This is new for the French for the Olympic year. It pays homage to the great French musician Johnny Hallyday. And it's a routine that really is going to make a big hit in Paris because of the music. And the French, they're working towards making sure that they give a good performance at competitions like this. There was one particularly difficult collaboration where one of the gymnasts had to take several steps forward in order to catch the hoop and nearly ran into her teammate as a result. Other moments of lovely synchronization. It's real originality in the details.
Still, we have two more performances to come. Well, it's up to you as to whether you think a banana hat is particularly appealing. Well, you can leave bananas lying around everywhere, but it is a slippery slope. Honestly, all decorum has been lost today.
These mats are the decoration of the hall. You can't give them to the gymnasts.
The French score, 34.85. It's quite comparable to their performance in the preliminary round. Just over a mark and a half down. And two remain. So Italy are on the podium, and they are close to making it 2 out of 3 titles over the last 3 editions of the European Championships, the single apparatus competition. What about the 2020 champions? Ukraine, 6th in the all-around final and 8th best in the qualification process for this. It's a marvellously engaging routine to watch. Fits perfectly with the orchestration.
Ask.
always please a crowd. Performances like that, full of exuberance, full of musicality, full of trickery, and full of great balletic skill. You are guaranteed, are you not, to be entertained when you get a Ukrainian group performance. Diana Baeva, Alina Melnik, Valeria Peremeta, Kira Shirikina and Maria Vysochanska, the group.
The music is Carmen, and what a perfect marriage with the 5 hoops. There's so many little touches in this exercise, always something that surprises. Changes in tempo, and their synchronization was particularly good. It is a routine that's designed to show off the strong grounding in ballet of the members. Plenty of large throws and beautiful diving leap and a dramatic flourish right at the end.
On the subject of dramatic flourishes, there's another. Now, at the moment, Italy, Spain and Israel occupy the top 3 positions. It remains thus 37.85, though, for Ukraine is a very big improvement from qualification. That's 2.1 higher. Difficulty is up by 1.2. Their execution score is up by 0.8 of a mark. The highest execution we've seen so far, Israel. Italy and Spain will be on the podium. Germany are the last to perform. 35.8, their qualification score. It will need to be significantly higher if they are to challenge for a place in the top 3. It's been so exciting over the last couple of years to see the growth in quality of German rhythmic gymnastics. This is a group that finished 12th at the European Championships in Tel Aviv in the all-around competition. They were 10th last time. They've just finished 7th on this occasion. Anja Kossan, Daniela Krom, Alina Oganessian, Hanna Vester and Emilia Vickert have been quietly establishing themselves as one of the best groups out there.
A place on the podium might not be their fate today, but we'll have to wait and see. This was a routine that was delivered with a lot of confidence and pretty minimal errors. Perhaps the difficulty is not as high as some of the groups that we have seen, but it's a very pleasant presentation. And even if they don't go home with a medal, they will go home with the knowledge that unofficially they have a place at the Olympic Games.
What is so clear when you watch the German group compared to how they were a couple of years ago is the overall fluidity of their performances has improved fairly immeasurably. There were times in the early days when they seemed to be almost stringing together sequences of move, and now one watches a performance from them.
This is the kind of fluidity that is born out of practice, out of attending a lot of competitions, including quite big ones like this.
And they're out there a lot on the World Cup circuit as well, aren't they, the German group?
They are.
35.75. It's consistency from them, virtually the same as in qualification. And it brings to a close the 5 hoops final. The classified results in the 5 hoops competition: the bronze medal won by Israel, silver goes by a single tenth to Spain, and the champions, the Italians, they take back the title that they won in 2022, having been the bronze medalists in Baku last year. And we should mention for Israel that that is their 5th consecutive appearance on the podium in the 5 hoops or the single apparatus contest at the European Championships. Let's look back and enjoy some of the best moments of that competition. The mixed apparatus final is the last event at these championships. The finalists in the 3+2 competition, the mixed apparatus event at the 40th European Rhythmic Gymnastics Championships, will begin with the second best performers in qualification, Spain. And then further down the order, 6th, the anti-penultimate group, Bulgaria. They were the top in the preliminary round, which also doubled as the all-around competition.
Ready for the next one, ladies and gentlemen. As we are running a bit late, we will skip the presentation of the teams, so we'll go straight to the competition.
Any moment now, the last medal event will begin. Crowd excited for this last contest at Budapest 2024. And just a brief moment for me to say thank you to all of you for being part of it, watching at home wherever you've watched the action from, and whichever gymnast or gymnasts you've been supporting. It's been wonderful having you with us for the duration of these championships. Thank you for your time and your energy and your emotional commitment to watching an event like this, because it is always such an emotional thing, whether your favourites win or don't win. It's always nerve-wracking and it's always exciting, and there are always twists and turns and surprises along the way. Extra thank you to all of the volunteers for their excellent work in discharging their duties so professionally and kindly throughout Budapest 2024. They have done the city of Budapest proud. They've done Hungary proud. It concludes, but it also begins. It's the last event, and this is the first group of gymnasts in the mixed apparatus final. Spain qualified in second place en route to the all-around bronze medal. The same group of gymnasts that competed in the 5 hoops final. How close can they get to their 34.45 in qualifying? Can they even go beyond?
Imagine there's no heaven.
Imagine there's no heaven. Imagine all
to music originally performed by the late, great John Lennon. A message of unity, a demonstration of collaboration from Spain.
And overall, a performance full of grace.
Their fans rise to support them. It's delightful to watch this routine, it really is.
And it has been so nice to see this group come alive and realize its potential.
We keep talking about it, and I don't think we're ever going to stop, and I don't think we should ever stop talking about how they have grown as a group over the years.
Oh, yes.
They deserve to have that story told again and again and again.
Such palpable improvement. This piece of music just made for large throws of the apparatus. And that's a good thing because there are a lot of them in this routine. They take a tremendous amount of risk in the difficulty of the exchanges. This a really wonderfully synchronized example. The coaches living every moment of it. The tosses and catches were especially precise today, and they know it.
I like these skills of some approaches.
Images to fill you with joy. Quite possibly a score too as well. 34.7. Spain have yet again delivered a performance to pressurize the rest of the pack. They have a history of success in this event, particularly recently. They've been on the podium over the last 2 European Championships. But here is another nation who have been hugely successful in this apparatus over recent years, but not without some complications en route. Sometimes they've been phenomenal with the mixed apparatus, at other times it's been trickier. Italy. They scored 32.3 in qualification. Alessia Russo replaces Agnese Doranti from the 5 hoops performance. The Italians have been the champions of the world with the mixed apparatus. Many things to report in that routine from the Italians. Starting with the positive, lots of great collaboration, great partnership, big difficulty and a strong sense of artistry, but a very noticeable issue with the apparatus.
The potential for greatness with Italy is always there. This is a brilliantly realized piece of choreography. Many unique, creative exchanges and collaborations. But of course, the fundamental part of rhythmic gymnastics, group and individual, is that you have to keep hold of the apparatus. There was one drop of the ribbon mid-routine, and though the gymnast recovered well, simply picked it up and kept moving, and it didn't really disturb the flow of the routine. Anytime an athlete loses an apparatus, there's going to be at least a half-a-point penalty. And then if she is doing it in a body difficulty, that means the entire group does not get credit for what they were doing. So we're likely to see a difficulty score that is down a bit compared to what we saw in the all-around final, and an execution score that's a bit lower too, perhaps.
And what it will come down to is whether Italy have managed to earn that difficulty elsewhere in the routine, which sometimes can be the case. What you lose somewhere, you gain elsewhere. The Spaniards want to gain right now. They've challenged their apparatus difficulty. But it's often that way in group rhythmic gymnastics, a little give and take. Some things work one day, they don't work the next. .9 difficulty for Italy, as you anticipated, Blythe, down by a couple of tenths from the qualification score. 32.1 is the overall number. The execution, 7.15, is actually higher than qualification. Artistry exactly the same. But overall it is a net loss of 0.2. At World Championship level, Israel are the nation to beat with the mixed apparatus. Continentally, it's been a much harder process. They were the runners-up in Baku. And the year before, in Tel Aviv, they were not on the podium. What now? They struggled in qualification. 31.9. They just made it into this final. But it's a new day, a new start for them.
Welcome to the Moulin Rouge.
They certainly have gone for it. They've really gone for it. But when it comes to a Moulin Rouge routine, you might as well go for it. As they say of Mr. Henri Lautrec, you've nothing to lose. Begins with style, doesn't it, this performance?
Oh, it really does. The formation of the red windmill of the Moulin Rouge is such a brilliant idea. They certainly had a happier reaction to the end of this routine than the rather muted reception that the coaches gave it, and the gymnasts too, during the all-around final. This is new, and it's so intricate. There's a lot happening with every apparatus, and occasionally some of the setups for the big throws, because they are so complicated, you see the apparatus resting on the ground maybe a fraction of a second or two longer than it should.
Execution-wise, in qualification, it was 6.55. It was one of the starkest differences that we had between execution and artistry. 8.05 for the latter category.
The judges rewarding the many good ideas that are incorporated in the choreography, but certainly taking when they saw mistakes in the routine itself. There's one small issue with a ribbon that was quite quickly resolved in the midst of this routine too. Details are still obviously being refined.
The score of this event is changed.
We'll just bring you an update to say that Spain's difficulty remains as it was, as does Italy's. On we go. That's a much stronger score for Israel, 34.5. They go into second place, 0.2 behind Spain. And just to look at that in a little more nuanced detail, the execution is up by 0.95, the artistry up by 0.3, and the difficulty up by 1.4. Ukraine were the third strongest performers in qualification. 33.5 was the number. They were last on the podium in this particular competition in Kyiv in 2020, where they finished second.
flat, so 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 flat.
Yet more intensity and energy from the Ukrainian group. As ever, clever little moments of partnership, little flourishes with the apparatus that make one smile. It's full of engagement. Sometimes the cleanliness of it was perhaps not as they wished. Elements that needed to be synchronized, like the dynamic balances, perhaps slightly out of kilter.
They are all such striking performers. But perhaps the downside of that is it makes their synchronization, the moments when they aren't quite together, really evident. And in avoiding a big error in this routine, they did make a few small ones. Steps to the side here and there on trajectories. One catch of a ball where a gymnast really lunges forward almost to the ground, lets the ribbon that she's holding fall slack. That's not going to escape notice from the judges. And there on the chaîné turns, one gymnast just a bit ahead of her teammates. Still, overall, it's a dance party, and it's so fun to watch.
And that little bit of bouncing up and down you just saw there from Irina Derogina, I can confirm for you, was during the Everybody Dance Now component. And I was fully expecting her to really start going for it.
It's what everyone's waiting for, one of these days. Irina Derogina, a world champion as an individual herself during the 1970s.
.33.5 again. This time their difficulty is down by 5/10. They've gained that back in execution and artistry, so it may be that we see the Ukrainians opt to challenge that difficulty score based on precedent. They might have some fortune with that. Spain, Israel, Ukraine, 1, 2 and 3 as we now enter the second half of this competition. The performance of Germany. They were the 7th best in qualification. Very consistent across the board yesterday and indeed today. And so the championships draw to a close for the German squad. A team in combination with the individuals that nearly made it onto the podium. And it's always lovely, that moment when the gymnasts just take their bow for the last time in front of the crowd to acknowledge particularly their home support that's travelled to be with them. A group that we are more and more accustomed to seeing in finals on a month-by-month basis.
The name of this composition is Yellow, and it is a fast-paced bit of music. It evokes race car driving, speed, finesse, all of that illustrated in many different ways by the German squad in this exercise. It's an interesting choice for ribbons because they have to do so many large throws and catches, and occasionally in this routine we saw trajectory errors as the gymnasts really struggled a bit to keep the ribbon under control. One place where the apparatus nearly went out of bounds, but a good job to the gymnast who didn't let that happen. They were also slightly behind the music. It ended, and there might be a penalty of perhaps 1/10 of a point due to that ball still being in the air at the close of the routine.
Yes, the yellow song, The Race, so well known through sports television programming across the world. 33.5, the Ukraine score. As I mentioned, the difficulty down by half a mark. Therefore, they have unsurprisingly opted to see if they can get any of that re-evaluated by the superior jury. So we have 3 performances to come from Bulgaria, from Poland, from Azerbaijan. Well, that was a successful challenge from Ukraine. 33.5 becomes 33.9. So they were absolutely right to make the inquiry. It has solidified third place for them. 32.15, Germany's score. And yet again, it's virtually the same as qualification. They've done that with both of their performances today, demonstrating absolute consistency. And just to go back to Ukraine, that 18 difficulty score, which was 18.5 in qualification, has settled on 18.4 now. So the coaching staff were absolutely correct. They knew that something had been missed, and it's perfectly understandable for something to be missed at the pace a group routine goes. That's why there is an extra layer of jurisdiction. Bulgaria, the strongest performers in qualification, 34.85. Team and all-around gold medalists in yesterday's competition.
gotta make a change.
Whatever is to be said, whatever can be said, they will not need to hear it. They will know. All elite athletes know starkly, more quickly than any of us know, when it hasn't gone right. And that was a really uncomfortable one for the Bulgarians. All kinds of issues with the balls, replacement apparatuses flying around left, right and centre. But you know what? The Olympic Games is an all-around competition. They won that one.
Bulgaria has shown us in this competition how beautiful rhythmic gymnastics can be. With this exercise, they show us how cruel it can get. 2 losses of the apparatus, the balls, almost simultaneously. And when you think that losing 1 apparatus out of bounds and having to use the replacement, there's a minimum 1.6 deduction. So we're already at more than 3 points of deduction. That doesn't count things like the compositional deduction that they will take for the interruption to the routine, the difficulty lost, the difficulty not executed because the gymnasts were getting themselves back in place. It cascades very quickly.
It is extraordinary, actually, that they managed to get to a proper finishing point in that routine.
It was, and actually, sometimes we see gymnasts just stop completely as the music keeps going. And credit to them, they didn't let that happen.
I don't think they're particularly in the mood for table service right now. But again, we just remind ourselves of the fact that the all-around competition is what they won yesterday, and that is the event that exists at the Olympiad. 28.6 for obvious reasons. The execution 5.5, the lowest that we've seen in this final. The Spaniards, therefore, have secured a medal. Poland, the 5th best in qualification, with Maria Balakina replacing Milena Gorska from the 5 hoops performance that we saw from them yesterday. So the group is Maria Balakina, Adoka Przybylska, Małgorzata Rożetycka, Magdalena Szewczuk and Julia Wojciechowska. 32.6 in the preliminary round.
T'es où? Toi l'homme de ma vie, t'es où? Toi qui m'aimeras toute ta vie, t'es où? Toi qui ne me lâcheras jamais, je t'attends depuis toujours. Toi mon âme sœur, mon amour, t'es où? On ne cessera de s'aimer, et je sais que toi et moi ce sera pour l'éternité. T'es où? Je meurs lentement sans toi, t'es où? Je ne peux plus vivre sans toi, je veux vivre dans tes bras. Nos corps ne se lâchent pas. T'es où? Toi mon autre, ma moitié. T'es où? Mon soleil, mon apogée. T'es où? Ne me laisse pas seul encore. T'es où? J'ai besoin de toi si fort. T'es où? Toi mon unique et mon tout, t'es où? Toi qui ne m'abandonneras plus, t'es où? Je te cherche, je ne te vois pas, t'es où? T'es où?
It remains one of the most striking pieces of rhythmic gymnastics out there. It remains haunting. It remains heartbreaking. And it remains well performed. Sometimes it's hard to know what to say at the conclusion of that routine because it is so emotionally raw that it is difficult to find words for it.
Of all of the routines in this mixed apparatus final, this is the one that evokes the strongest emotion. It's a song of love and loss, of heartbreak and mourning. And it's beautifully rendered.
Where are you?
From a technical standpoint, this was very well delivered. From an artistic standpoint, it borders on being a masterpiece.
And the words always echoing around the arena. Teo, where are you? Gymnastics should stir your soul. That does. Now, what of the number?
That's for sure.
32.15. Poland score their execution, 7.05. 8 for artistry. They're in 4th position. We arrive at the last performance of the 40th European Rhythmic Gymnastics Championships, the Budapest 2024 Championships. It is Azerbaijan, the nation that hosted the previous edition, that will conclude. They were the 4th best in the all-around. They were the 4th best in qualification for this particular final, 33.5. And if they get that here, they will indeed be 4th. It draws to a close. Budapest 2024, the 40th European Rhythmic Gymnastics Championships. Can Azerbaijan disrupt the podium courtesy of this last performance? We shall discover in just a moment or two. Kamila Alieva replacing Daria Sorokina in this routine.
And what a nice way to end this European Championships with the unexpected from Azerbaijan. Quite like Ukraine, they're very good when it comes to classical composition, and they're excellent with the contemporary as well. This routine, it starts off pretty solemn and serious, and then you get a completely different look in the second half of the exercise. Azerbaijan, the reigning European champion with the mixed apparatus, but with a much different style of routine that they performed in Baku last year. This is new. Technically, it's very good. It's an open question right now whether it is enough to get them back onto the podium. But we shall soon find out. For the most part, the collaborations were quite well controlled. And the finish was very good as well.
.9 Ukraine, 34.5 Israel, 34.7 Spain. Poland challenging both their apparatus and body difficulty. Poland's score has not changed. Azerbaijan 33.35. They have just missed out on a place on the podium. It may well be therefore that they opt to question that. The bronze medal to Ukraine, silver won by Israel, and the gold medal and the title of Champions of Europe to the Spaniards. And it is the first time since 1992 that Spain have won the mixed apparatus title. It is in Stuttgart. What a triumph that is for the Spanish group. Now, being that it's Azerbaijan that's performed last and Azerbaijan that's in fourth place, there may well be an inquiry, so I'll let you know if anything does come in. But we have also the two victory ceremonies to bring your way in a moment or two. Let's have a look back at the moments of the competition.
Wherever
before the presentation of the group apparatus medals, the traditional Shooting Star Award. And we'll hand over to Niels and Petra to talk you through it.
Shooting Star Award, a special trophy for athletes with a remarkable story, or for gymnasts who are an inspiration for the future generation.
Most folytassam véget ér a rendeleti ritmikus gimnasztika Európa-bajnokság, szeretnék egy elképesztő tornát rivalda fénybe helyezni, kicsit másképp, mint ahogy a színűben látjuk. Itt az idő, hogy átadjuk a Smart Scoring Shooting Star díjat, amit mindenkiben egy különleges történettel rendelkező, vagy a fiatalabb generációt inspiráló tornász kap meg.
And this time the award goes to a woman that is not only a Rhythmic gymnast, but also a very talented student. This is her story. She was accepted at the University of California in Los Angeles at the age of just 14. She graduated from university in 2022 when she was only 16 years old, becoming one of the youngest graduates in the history of this prestigious university, as she earned a bachelor degree in cognitive science. In future, she plans to continue her studies in artificial intelligence and in medicine.
Ezúttal ezt a díjat egy olyan hölgy kapja meg, aki nem csak ritmikus gimnasztikázó, hanem tehetséges tanuló is. És mi az ő sztoria? Mindössze 14 évesen felvételnek volt Lucy-re, az a Los Angeles California Egyetemre, ahol 2022-ben még mindig csak 16 évesen szerzett diplomát, ezzel pedig a rangos egyetem történetének egyik legfiatalabban végző hallgatója lett. Kognitív tudományi szakon szerzett mesterdiplomát, a jövőben pedig az a terve, hogy folytatja a felsőfokú tanulmányait a mesterséges intelligencia és a gyógyszeripari területen. Célja, hogy inspirálja a fiatalabb lányokat a továbbtanulásra.
Mr. Kamran Ramazanov, the CEO of our global partner Smart Scoring, will now hand out the Shooting Star Awards to the Republic of Moldova's Emily Vesnos.
Globális partnerünk a Smart Scoring ügyvezető igazgatója, talán a házalapodják a Shooting Star díjat, Emily Vesnosnak.
The quite extraordinary Emily Vesnos of Moldova, the winner of the Shooting Star Award. As Niels so accurately documented, her academic life is extraordinary. One of the earliest graduates of the University of California, Los Angeles. She's so keen to support other young people in studying STEM subjects. She wants to be a mentor. And my word, anyone would be lucky to be mentored by her. And a super young rhythmic gymnast as well. Emily Vesnos, competing at her second European Championships. Emily Vesnos, the winner of the Shooting Star Award. And now we will bring you the award ceremony for the Senior Group Apparatus Finals.
It's now time for the medal ceremony for the groups with 5 groups.
Hölgyeim és uraim, most pedig következik a felnőtt egyes vízzel-csapat 5 kormányos díjának a ceremóniája. Kérem, köszöntsük a dobósokat!
victory ceremony for the 5 hoops competition at the 40th European Rhythmic Gymnastics Championships. Israel, bronze medalist, the 5th time in a row they've been on the podium in this event at the European Championships. The Spaniards, silver medalists in Budapest. They were the silver medalists in this event at the World Championships last year at home in Valencia. Italy, the champions. More success in this event for them. They won the title in Tel Aviv in 2022, and they return to the podium. The medals are presented to the bronze medalists, Israel and Shani Bakanov, Ada Friedman, Romy Paritsky, Ofir Shaham and Diana Svertsov. The silver medals to Spain, Ana Arnau, Inés Bergua, Mireia Martinez, Patricia Perez and Salma Salaun. And Italy are the champions. Martina Centofanti, Agnese Duranti, Alessia Maurelli, Daniela Mogurian, Laura Paris and Alessia Russo. And we will now have the national anthem of Italy. The medalists in the 5 hoops competition at Budapest 2024.
Congratulations. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias. Grazie mille.
To the last victory ceremony and the conclusion of these championships.
It is now time. The final. Duos and Rhythmics. Please welcome the winners.
It's now time for the victory ceremony for the mixed apparatus competition at the 40th European Rhythmic Gymnastics Championships. Ukraine, the Warriors team, the bronze medalists. Success for Ukraine, returning to this podium for the first time since the 2020 competition in Kyiv. Really good resurgence from Israel after struggling in the all-around final yesterday. This was a much better routine from them, and it results in the silver medal. For only the second time and the first in 32 years, the Spaniards are the champions in the mixed apparatus event. How far this group has come. A glorious moment for the Spanish rhythmic gymnastics group. The medals will be presented to bronze medalists Ukraine, Diana Baeva, Alina Melnik, Maria Perameta, Kira Shirikina and Maria Vysochanska. Silver medalists Israel, Shani Bakanov, Edar Friedman, Romy Paritsky, Ofir Shaham and Diana Svertsov. And the gold medalists Spain, Ana Arnau, Inés Bergoa, Mireia Martinez, Patricia Perez and Salma Salaun. We will conclude with the national anthem of Spain.
And let's rise, ladies and gentlemen, for the national anthem of Spain.
Most pedig kérem, hallgassuk meg felállva a Spanyolország nemzeti himnuszát.
A glorious conclusion to their European Championships. The medalists in the mixed apparatus competition at Budapest 2024. One last moment of celebration, like a firework in the night sky. And then, time to switch the lights out, to lock the doors and to move on. Another city, another championships, another day, another routine. More hoops, more balls, more clubs, more ribbons, more chances. More gymnasts as role models, inspiring others, setting the standard, and making this sport so enjoyable to watch. More of your companionship wherever you call home and whoever you support. And something very big on the horizon. In 2 months' time, the Olympiad will be here, Paris 2024. It's goodbye from Budapest. It's been an absolute honour to have your company throughout. Joining me was Blythe Lawrence. I've been Olly Hogben, saying farewell until next we meet.